Well, hello and welcome to Live at the Showgrounds. It's our first broadcast under the floodlights on the Ballycastle Road. Cliftonville, tonight's visitors, and they'll be up against a Coleraine side, very much on the top of a crest of a wave. They're looking for 7 wins in a row in the Danske Bank Premiership. Can they do it? Let's take a look. Now, tonight, the Bannsiders make 5 changes to their team. Stephen O'Donnell is out. He's alongside me and we'll hear from him in just a moment or two. Bradley, Carson, Tweed and Allen drop to the bench. In come Jarvis, Lowry, Nixon and McLaughlin.
And what a baptism of fire it will be for them.
Yeah, and Coleraine 6 wins in a row. David, how important was it on Saturday that Orange players reacted to going behind against Crusaders here? And Ryan Curran playing up front with Paul O'Neill. Now Paul O'Neill, David, how much of a sweetener was his move to Solitude in the opposite direction that saw McMenamin move to Glentoran?
Oh, it was massive. Losing Connor would have been a big blow for...
Here's Hale. Chance for Hale! Oh, that's a fantastic goal. He spotted Gareth Ding off his line. And he hit it first time, the former Derry City man. Signed, of course, from Crusaders. And just 3.5 minutes into the game at the Showgrounds, Rory Hale notches his 2nd goal in the colours of Cliftonville. Big free kick coming up for Coleraine. McConaughey, they'll test the keeper, and followed in from Aaron Traynor, and the man who won Man of the Match last week on his 100th appearance for the Bannsiders. He scores his first goal of the season, and Oran Kearney's men are back on level terms. What about that, Stephen O'Donnell?
If it was hard to listen to after Saturday, it'd be even harder to listen to now. But do you know what? Fair play to him. He's hungry to get on the box, and he keeps telling us all how good he is going forward and scoring goals. And brilliant, delighted that he's managed to get on the end. I think it was a good hit from Big G as well.
It's Coleraine 1, Cliftonville 1, Crusaders 1, Glentoran 0, Glenavon 1, Larne 1. And Linfield leading against Portadown. The other game called off tonight. And here's Jimmy Glacken thundering towards the rain. Parkhill. Great ball in from Parkhill! I tell you, Coleraine have gone 2-1 in front, and did James McLaughlin get the final touch on that?
Yeah, but you always see, Barry, Coleraine won the possession back. They won the possession back 10 yards in their own half by Stephen Lowry winning the ball and playing a quick, decisive pass forward. And again, where did Coleraine cause the damage? Down the sides. Ian Parkhill getting in a great position, and James just needed that faintest touch on it, and they find themselves 2-1 up. No, there's a couple of free kicks, Barry, but nothing. The trainer hasn't been on. Aaron Trainor's on obviously, but no, the trainer hasn't been on. So it shouldn't be.
Chance for Glacken to come forward. Glacken to Lyndon Kane. And he just tried to arc it into the top corner, and Lyndon Kane, that could have put in such a nice buffer going in towards half time. And not a likely combination to score. Aaron Traynor left back and right back Lyndon Kane on the same afternoon, Stephen.
Do you know what? To be fair to London, that's what he does well there. You see when he breaks the lines and he travels with the ball up the pitch, and because he does it so quickly, it's difficult to defend against. So, but he's got in that good position, and he's you know what I mean. He's gone back to himself there and missing it. He's missed a few here this season. I think he could be sitting in a few goals. The boys have been at him, but there we go. It's in the half.
Well, there is the half-time whistle, and Coleraine, not for the first time in recent games, coming from behind to lead at half-time. Yeah, and plenty of options for both sides for Cliftonville. A couple of players you may recognise and some you may not. Michael McCrudden, Dara O'Connor, Darren Hyland, Owen Taggart, as we see an opportunity for O'Neill. Goodness me. And Gareth Dean could only look on, and that really was a moment of concern for the Bannsiders. David, that just whizzed past the post.
Yeah, it's a lack of concentration. You've got to be switched on from the first whistle.
Used to that, beat Larne away at Larne. That was a fantastic win. Goals from Lowry and McLaughlin. They also had wins against Dungannon with that fine Owen Bradley goal. And one, we'll ask him about it in a moment or two ago. When the play dies down a little, we'll ask Stephen O'Donnell about that Owen Bradley goal. What a ball from Stuart Nixon. Great ball in towards Parkhill. Nixon will get it back. Nixon.
Yeah, he's been on his bum a few times, but I can't understand why his shorts aren't dirty. But Barry, the back of his shirt is. But yeah, listen, he's a player who plays with all the energy in the world, and some days it goes for him. But one thing he's never lacking is that 100%. And I've been very impressed by him over the past few months.
Aaron Canning.
Yeah, Mickey's getting ready to come on there
as
as well. McCrudden, he looks like he's just warming up, and Mickey's probably similar to O'Connor, where if Cliftonville keep playing sort of in the middle third, and
McLaughlin.
And hopefully Coleraine can get something from this.
Here's Glacken. McConaughey's come to the near post and it just evades him. Comes back though to Glacken onto his left side now. Jimmy Glacken. I think that was a cross. What do you reckon, Stephen?
I think he done well. I think for me anyway, the first corner probably wasn't good enough, and he's hit the first man, but he's in that sort of picked up a ball again, drove the defender, and I would say it was a cross, but if I had went down Glax, I'd have told you it was a shot.
And again, more breathing space for the Bannsiders. McConaughey sends it deep towards McLaughlin. Great header from McLaughlin, and Cliftonville's keeper Aaron McCarry had to be alert there. That was destined for the top corner.
Yeah, it's a super header. The ball travelled an awful long way, and you can see James has kept his eye on it, and directed towards goals. Great header.
Often the engine room for Coleraine, but just as is the case, Stephen, for so many of the Coleraine players at the minute, we haven't seen the ball go out. It could be in from Cliftonville. And my goodness, just about everyone thought that ball had gone into touch, and instead Cliftonville have fashioned an unlikely looking equaliser. Even Colerane's fullbacks seem perplexed here. We'll get another look in just a moment or two, but
I think it's important for us that when we do one possession back here, we try and make one or two passes that get us up the pitch, and I think we've been on that mindset for the last 10 minutes of clearing the ball, and hopefully we can get a hold of it too.
It falls to Donnelly, and that's cleared off the line from Evan Tweed. And David, certainly under the cosh here, our Coleraine. Another chance coming in. Still they haven't cleared it, and Paul O'Neill. The effort comes back off the post, and Coleraine living extremely dangerously here. So 4 minutes indicated by the fourth official here at the showgrounds as Evan Tweed picks up possession, and we didn't remark on it there as Paul O'Neill clipped the post, David, but Coleraine thankful that Tweed was on the goal line to deny the chance that came before that.
Yeah.
Chance for Coleraine. Oh, it hits the crossbar. Goodness me, what a strike that was. And that was Ian Parkhill. In a second or two, looks as if the shares are going to be the spoils, I should say, are going to be shared, and for the first time in 7 matches, Coleraine won't have taken the 3 points, and a disappointing end to the match for Coleraine, who had led by 2 goals to 1 up until the 86th minute, and Paul O'Neill bundling home for Cliftonville.
That must feel like a defeat.
Yeah, it does, and I think that's football in quick succession, where on Saturday, we get a late winner and the euphoria of it, and tonight we get hit probably with that sucker punch, which, as you say, it doesn't feel like a draw, it feels like a defeat. So, disappointing from that point of view. Thought after a poor start we'd really acquitted ourselves well and got the goals that we needed, and we probably had good forays and good chances in the second half where you could say, maybe get your third and put it to bed. But sometimes in football, it's not always the way, and you have to be prepared or have to be able to see that out. And I thought defensively in the second half, the guys stuck to their task brilliantly well. I thought, to be honest, it looked like they had probably run out of ideas a bit and were starting to go longer and longer, which we felt suited us. And bar a strike after about 10 seconds, I don't remember a huge amount of saves for Gareth to make. So it's frustrating when for 41, 42 minutes we acquit ourselves so well, and it looks like we're going to see it out comfortably. Just the freakish nature of the goal and the disappointment to drop 2 points.
I'm not seeing the game out is quite uncharacteristic, because we actually seen the game out against Larne and Crusaders as well.
Yeah, and to be fair, I thought up until to that point, we'd done fantastically well. But I think what happens is, I think Orange kicked the ball off the Cliftonville player, and it looks like it's arrowing out of play. And I think when you look up there, the flag ain't moving, even though there's a wind blowing down the pitch. And obviously the stand shelters that first 6 or 7 yards of the pitch from the wind. And it looks like the ball's arrowing out of play, because I think because it goes stand height, it then gets caught in the wind that's coming over the top of the stand. And it's that old one where you've turned your back on something, or you think the ball's going out of play, and it gives them that moment, I suppose, to drive into the box. And it's a frustrating one from our point of view. Listen, we're not going to part any blame on that point of view. He's held his hands up already, not that we're concerned with that. He's been outstanding for us this season. It's just a frustrating one, I think, for everybody, where, as you say, it's 2 points dropped.
And you think Ian Parkle's going to be the matchman early on?
Yeah, and he probably deserved. I thought his exception, and you're really crying for people when they get the opportunity to step in and take the load off others. And he had a very good game against Cliftonville up there earlier on in the season, and again he stepped in tonight, and I thought was fantastic. And if I'm being honest, probably deserved that one at the end. It would have been a fitting way to cap a great display from him.
And Portadown on Saturday, the games just keep on coming.
Yeah, they do. There's no rest at all, and again we've got it feels like a defeat. It's one of those changes afterwards. There's quiet and it's silent and everything else, and we'll have to digest it for the next couple of days. Get in on Thursday night and get the batteries charged again to go again on Saturday.
Well, George, can you begin to sum up your emotions after that?
It's a hard one to take. Sort of feels like a defeat at the minute. You do so well to come from 1 down to go 2-1 up, and we've plenty of chances. Don't take them and get punished. But in saying that, we got a late winner on Saturday against the Crews, so it's sort of 6-1, half a dozen, and we fought well, we battled well. They only had 1 shot, in the second half, and they seemed to score with it. So there's not much you can do about it now. Just dust yourselves off and go again Saturday.
Managed to see the game out against Lauren and against Crusaders. That must be the only frustration that you didn't manage to see the game out.
Definitely, and we have the players there to do it. And the goal was a strange one. It deflects off our trainer and goes up in the air. We don't know if it's in or out or what's going on, and we sort of stopped, which you shouldn't do. They get the ball, and to be fair to the wee man, he does very well. He flicks it over G in the 6-yard box and squares it across, and you've always got a chance then. But for us, it's bitterly disappointing. Very hard to take, but it is what it is. Just have to bounce back again Saturday, and can't sort of dwell on it now.
And personally, you've been in and out of the team in recent weeks. Is that just a case of scheduling, do you think?
That's it, exactly. We've got that many games coming over 6 weeks. I think there's something ridiculous, like 18 games or something. So it's a bit frantic, and I'm getting on a bit now, nearly 28, so I'm pushing on a bit. But no, listen, I'm happy to play whenever called upon, and I think it's about patience and when you get the chance, hopefully take it with both hands. And Orange done well with rotation, and it's sort of paid off for us at the minute, because we're getting a lot of fresh legs and we're putting a lot of miles in the bank. So it's good. It's good when you're getting results. Obviously hard to take tonight, but at the same time, it's still a point against a good Cliftonville side.
And you're looking for a start this weekend. Obviously, we play Portadown here.
Yeah, of course. Listen, you always want to start. I want to start every single game I'm involved in, but it's not to be at the minute. There's a lot of rotation, like I say, and it's good to get that hunger, because when you're sitting on a bench, you can sort of analyse things and see what you can add to it, and if you come on, and how you can affect it, and how you can push the team on to hopefully win. Obviously, it wasn't the case today, but there will be games down the line where I'll be able to sit and take note and go and make a difference.